Hello, how's it going? Back again. Another video on this, the Renault 5 GT Turbo. Yes, a car that is held together by hope and prayers. And if you've got one of these, do look after it because most of them have just rusted away or been crashed. And there seems to be fewer and fewer of these cars out there. And they're widely regarded by many as one of the fastest production cars ever made, according to no one. So this video, we are going to be putting the carb back in. If you remember in the last video, we had the carb out. It was sent off to a guy called Mark Branson, who did his magic. Fantastic job of that. There was a big delay getting it back, not on his side. It got stuck in Royal Mail. For those of you watching outside the UK, Royal Mail is a service where you give them your items and the person at the receiving end may or may not receive them over the next 5 years or so. But there was a bit of a delay there, but thank you Royal Mail, it did arrive eventually. And here it is, the refurbed Carb. Look at that, it's absolutely fantastic. It is like new, been replated, been resprayed, smaller Venturi because the Venturi wasn't original on it. So that's been fixed, so it should be pretty much back to standard. So all that remains for me to do in this video is get it back on the car, on top of that inlet manifold. I'm not going to cover it in this video because essentially it's just the reverse of the last video. So maybe just watch that video backwards and you should get the same effect. But I'm probably going to be cussing a lot, fiddling around, trying to get this all back together and hopefully working. But I'm very, very excited about this. It should be, hopefully, fingers crossed, running very well when it fires back up. Got a full battery, ready to crank it a lot because I think that's going to be the case. But yeah, let's crack on and do that. So quick progress update. It's going very well. Got the water circuit connected at the bottom, just about to put the fuel and the bleed hoses back on, and then the choke and the throttle. We are missing an O-ring that goes around the top here of the intake plenum to ensure a good seal between the lobster stroke elbow stroke whatever you want to call it and the plenum here. It isn't a complete showstopper for getting this running. We should be able to start it and have it idle nicely. We just won't be able to get it under any boost because obviously there isn't going to be a good seal between this part here and the top inside of this lobster. So we need to get an O-ring for that before we can probably take it out for a good boost. But apart from that, all seems to be going very well indeed. I don't know the torque settings for these bolts down the bottom. If anyone has an idea, do let me know. So I've just done them up nice and pretty firm, not overly firm. I think I did see a Solex DAS32 that they're 14 pounds of torque on those, but it's going to be quite hard to get any torque wrench in there, to be fair, because its access isn't great. But progress nevertheless. Okay, that's it all connected up. I think I've put everything back. Perk fan is in as well, you can see there. Not too hard a job. The problem obviously is that lack of O-ring sealing the lobster on to the car. We might get some leakage there and maybe that might affect the bleed pressure. So I'm going to try and crank it anyway because I'm really quite excited to do this and see what happens. So, you know, it could be a load of fire soon. Exciting stuff. Another little note for the diary. This car over time did tend to use a fair bit of water. Not a scary amount, but just over the course of a month it would drain down to below the minimum. And I was pretty confident it wasn't mixing in the block because everything looks good there. But I was able to trace a small leak to that turbo jacket hose there. It was weeping, so tightened that up and it did improve the situation quite a bit, but not completely. Upon replacing the carb, I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but this hose here had actually perished completely under the Jubilee clip. I think it had been tightened so much that nuclear fusion had just started, but it's definitely penetrated right through there and was probably weeping out through a few cracks. You can see it's gone through to the inside there. So I cut the hose back and put it on and haven't over tightened it. Just see that in there, it's cut back a little bit. I might end up having to do the same on that side too because that's looking like the rubber is coming through that Jubilee clip. But let's see if that improves the situation further because it seems to be holding water very well now. So fingers crossed that has cured things or helped things a little bit. Okay, we're in the car. Let's give it a bit of choke. Oh, wow, that moves better than it did before. Much smoother. Oh, that's already good. So it was obviously very stiff on the old carb. We're going to try and crank it. Fingers crossed. A little bit nervous about this, if I'm honest, but let's see how we go. Obviously, it's going to take some time to get fuel back into the carb and into the chamber. So let's go. Wow. Well, it fired up. That's amazing. It's got life. Oh, that's running so much better. Oh, look at that. That is the best it's ever run. And it fired straight back up. Oh, and it's so much more sensitive on the choke. And yes, thank you, Mark. That is insane. I'm so pleased with that. Right, I don't want to, I'm in the garage, so I want to fumigate myself. Let's kill that. Oh, that's fantastic. So good. Okay, that is a total result. Wow. Running so well. No lumpiness there at all. I cannot wait to get this going properly. I don't know how well you can see that. We've got to get that O-ring onto that lobster so that we've got a good seal, so that when we're boosting, when we're under boost, it's not leaking out and causing issues. But that, I can't believe how quickly that fired up then, and it was holding nicely as well. I am so pumped. Well done, Mark. Great job on the carb, and very easy to do. And look at that, we've got a nice new carb in there that looks lovely. So result, I think we could probably wrap this up, assuming that it's going to work very nicely. I'll get the O-ring on there and then get it out and do some more filming in this whilst it's running the best it's ever run. Thanks for watching. Do take care. See you on the next one. Bye for now.